Yes, so I'm a psychic medium, and one of the things they told me about is our soul age. So there's a lot of light workers, or anybody who's awakened right now, anybody who's awakened. It doesn't matter if you have psychic abilities or not. If you're literally just awakened and you're on the path of like something deeper is going on here in this country, they've been lying and manipulating us, for many, many years, like that kind of stuff. You're on that timeline. You are an older soul. And the reason for that is because you earn these certain traits throughout your soul's journey. And the longer that you have, I should say, the more times you have incarnated, the more lessons you obviously collect and earn in your soul's journeys. And so the older souls, we have these traits called logic and empathy. Those are two traits that they've told me that are actually earned throughout your lives. Because that's gained through experience only. And your soul, every life you go through, your soul remembers those lessons, as well as there's a whole oversoul situation that all of your family members also pour into as well. Even if you're adopted, like whatever souls you decide to be around, those are the souls that you actually take on their lessons. Or, like you absorb their lessons as well. And so an adopted person technically is like connected to two different oversoul families, because they actually get the lessons from both, I'm being told. So there's like all sorts of different things like that, where there's like nuance down here. There's a lot of different, things that happen with that. But so the younger souls are the ones who are not awake, the ones who are easily programmed, the ones who are conforming to this society, that type of thing. They do not have as much soul experience to be able to get over the manipulation here. That's why so many people can see past the manipulation and the propaganda, because we can use our traits of logic to see like, okay, this is not making logical sense. All this stuff that they're saying to us is not matching to the experience that we're having. They're saying here in America that this is the best country in the world and we have all these privileges and we are so much better than every other country. And then most people's experience is not that, obviously. We are very, very poor. We're having a very hard time surviving. We can't even, cover our basic needs, a lot of stuff like that. A lot of us are really struggling here. And so we're realizing like, hey, the logic is not adding up here. Something is going awry. And that's been for about, I don't know, I think a lot of people have thought this way since even like 9/11. I think that's when it started for a lot of people. But even a little bit past that, probably 2012 with Obama. And then ever since then, it's just been, kind of a trajectory of downhill bullshit. So what we're seeing now, that's what you're seeing with the split, is like if you're awake, if you're spiritual, and then like people who are on the 5D New Earth path, we're the oldest souls on this planet. Because in order to even like get this esoteric information, or to be able to like understand and conceptualize it, be open to it, you have to be having you in a different dimension. You have to have already had this information connected to your soul. So a lot of us have, we have past life remembrance. I mean, I've had past life remembrance. I've gotten visions of myself in Atlantis and Lemuria, but I've actually gotten visions of the collapse of it, which is really interesting. That's the only visions I get, 333 on the clock, of those two, which are two Earth civilizations. I have not gotten any parallel life things like where I can see visions of like myself and like Lyra and stuff, but I'm told that I'm from Lyra, Orion, like those types of things. They are saying like your multiplanetary information is a little bit harder to pull into this dimension, but your interdimensional information, like, which is what I'm getting right now. I'm getting information from my 7th dimensional self. A lot of us are actually, if you channel at all, that's where it's coming from. They do say that light language, though, that does come from like interplanetary. So if you get light language, you're actually pulling information from a different planet. And they say I pull like a little bit from other planets. Sometimes it's really hard for me to like distinguish when I'm pulling from different planets. But people who speak light language, they're absolutely like pulling from their other planet. We're all pulling from our other planetary selves right now, but we're also pulling from our interdimensional selves here. And so it's kind of a little bit complicated, honestly. There's a lot to it, but the reason why we're having such a bad time right now is because the young souls are actually running this place. All Donald Trump and all his cronies, all of them, they're younger souls in as far as Well, they're a little bit different, I'll say. They're Donald Trump and cronies and people who can like do really, really bad stuff, you know, like stuff that's like you can't even fathom, you know, and you know, because like there's bad people on this planet, but there's not to the extent that they are, that they're doing all sorts of shit. It seems like extra human capabilities to be able to like harm humans, you know. After reading the Epstein files and all that shit, you're just like, holy fuck, they were doing some fucked ass shit, bro. Fucked ass shit. I mean, the worst stuff you can think of as a human, right? And those people, they're still younger in the universe compared to us, but they actually are just a smidge older. And they incarnate to serve, sorry, I'm getting confirmation burps here. They incarnate to serve as the polarity. So they actually are a little bit different. But if, you know, but they're younger souls regardless. And we're supposed to be running it, the old souls. And this is how indigenous cultures used to run indigenous and African tribes, you know, lots of places ran their societies based on like shamans or like older people, you know, spiritual people. Like they had a hierarchy of like the elders were the most respected. And, you know, other cultures had this too. Japanese culture is very much like this. There's lots of cultures that still carry this, but indigenous people were strategically taken out as well as black people because they were trying to get rid of this way that these tribes like ran their societies, because that's just part of dissension. It's part of the disconnection from God. So then that's why colonization and all that stuff happened. We were going into a dissension period away from God. And so they had to erase any remnants of how society should actually properly function and be ran so they could corrupt and manipulate us. I mean, this has been going on for before this country was even founded. This shit's been going on. Bad stuff. So, you know, America's only 250 years old. This corruption's been going on for about 400 years, I've been told. Or that's how far back they ended up getting with the time machines. So, that's why it's bad right now, because younger souls are running society, and they also have created a whole cabal situation. And for many, many years, hundreds of years, they've been doing this shit. So now it's time that we're going to, you know, get them out of power, and we are just going to correct the whole place. And then we are going to run society with the older souls being in charge, you know, running this, because we have more logic and empathy. And that's actually what you need to, like, run a society and have it function. That's a big reason why we're, like, lacking things, because it's completely illogical and there's no fucking empathy. And it's just, you know, all corrupt and all this crazy shit. So that's what's gonna happen when the aliens come down. They're gonna scan you, and they're gonna see, like, what your soul age is. It's not just soul age, though, I want to say. Because even if you have, like, you know, you could be a little bit younger than somebody, but you could actually be a little bit more mature based on how you were raised and stuff, too. So I don't know exactly how they did this. I don't know. I know they strategically placed light workers in really, really dark, shadowy areas, but I don't know about the rest of the world. I don't know, like, how they seeded everybody, but they're going to explain it when they come down here, too. Like, how they were, like, who they placed where and why and all that stuff. They're going to give us answers to it. Everybody's going to get answers to their lives. I want everybody to know that right now. You know, it's not just starseeds that they're going to come and, like, tell, like, hey, this is, like, your life. Like, everybody's going to know everything about their life. Which is interesting because, you know, a year ago they told me about that. They said that that's one of the things that's going to happen during open contact is everybody's going to be at the same place as far as, like, everybody's going to know their soul contract and they're going to know what role they played. Like, at some point, how we're going to view it is like, oh, sorry, like, I played the antagonistic role to your awakening. And then we're going to be like, oh, sorry, I, like, played the tower movement to yours. Like, I was the tower moment in tarot, where, you know, like, that's what I've done. I've bulldozed everybody in my fucking life to just, you know, align them to God. Like a big fat fucking bulldozer, you know, coming in like, you guys need to fucking align yourselves to God, and if you don't want to fucking do that. Of course, I didn't know that, though. I was just standing up for my integrity and principle all my life. Turns out I was aligning myself to God. Even when I wasn't believing in God, you know, that kind of shit. And then all these people around me who all believe in God and call themselves Christians and all this shit are not aligned to God, so... That's because I'm an older soul. I have these, you know, traits of, like, wisdom and empathy and logic and all that stuff because I've, like, earned that. And that's why I just naturally have these abilities. That's why a lot of us naturally have these abilities. But we've been, you know, ostracized and scrutinized for them all of our lives. Because we're usually around younger souls. And that's why we clash and have issues. So that's what I've been told about it.